Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of my live tea tasting. I've got an exciting blend for you guys today, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in because this is one of my favorite types of teas. I'm talking about oolongs, and not just any oolong, but a Taiwanese oolong. And since this is Masters Tea Month, I'm doing a very special oolong. It's called Formosa Shan. And Formosa Shan is a derivative of another Alishan kind of tea. I'm Snea, welcome. I'm going to just jump right in because this is going to be a very incredible blend, incredible flavor. I just love oolongs. I'm going to show you what this tea originally looks like because it's going to have a huge transformation. You guys see, it's very, very small. Am I going online on Twitch? Oh, I'm already online on Twitch. Am I not playing? I mean, it shows that it's going. Oh, anyway, so this is what it looks like before it's steeped. You can see it's very, it just came on. Yeah, must be some sort of network issue. Anyway, so as you can see, it's very, very compact, very small, it's almost a pellet basically. But after steeping it, let me get a nice example right here. Check this puppy out. After just one steep, it opens up incredibly much. So when it comes to oolongs like this that are very, very tightly wound and rolled up, you have the opportunity, if you do it just right, to get maybe 3, 4, or 5 steeps out of it. It depends on your methods, the temperature of the water, how long you keep it in. So this can actually keep you all day if you understeep it by quite a bit. Just in general, I love doing that to these teas because every time you steep it, you get another layer of flavor. This one, however, I don't have the luxury of showing you guys multiple steeps, so I steeped it at about maybe 190 to 200 degrees for 4 minutes, and that seemed to bring out enough of the leaf to open it and release most, if not all, of its flavor, but not hot enough to welcome, but not hot enough to burn the leaf and make it bitter. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and drink some of this because it is smelling pretty awesome. Hey Teresa, welcome. So this one has a very soft vegetal flavor. A soft vegetal. Luke, what's up? It's got a very soft vegetal scent, kind of like a grassy field, but not super duper wet, like a dry grassy field. And as you can tell, well, I'll talk about the color in a minute, but it's got a really nice, it's an almost salty, savory kind of scent to it. And just check out the color. It's a nice golden copper, and it's just like it's see-through, like it's purely clear. There's nothing in it but the leaf. And once you get a nice quality leaf like that, it's gonna taste good. So I'm I can't wait any longer. I'm gonna go ahead and take my first sip. Oh, yes. That's exactly what I was hoping for. It's got a nice coat over the tongue. And it tastes just like it smelled. It's creamy with a little bit of a salty vegetation to it. And it's very flavorful, very vibrant. Oolongs tend to have a specific flavor and they're very hard to tell apart sometimes, because when you drink them consecutively, especially when you have like the Shan versus the milk oolong versus the jade oolong, all three of them have a specific mouthfeel that's very, very similar, and the taste kind of gradates from silky and smooth, like the Shan, to a little bit creamy, to a little bit softer, more of well, the the milk oolong is more of a creamy, sweet flavor, and the jade oolong is slightly less creamy, and slightly more vegetal. So you have a nice blend over here with this Shan, where it's sweet, it's a little bit savory, but not too savory, and you're getting a kind of creamy, but not overly creamy texture to it. So let me tell you guys, like, Shan is one of my favorites. One of my favorite oolongs that are out there. And when you take your first sip, you want to take a moment to just, Herman, welcome. You want to take a moment to just let it sit on your palate, and you get like this kind of cool, like a mineral water kind of flavor to it, and you're getting this kind of copper, a little bit of a copper aftertaste, but it's not super strong, so you're getting a nice blend of everything together. I'm trying to do the Thomas taste, but it didn't cool off quite enough yet. So I'm gonna give it a little blow here and there. See if I can hold it in my mouth long enough to keep it. Okay, so I'm getting like a soft, almost cottony kind of texture when I breathe out. It's very, very low, but there's also a bit of a buttery essence to it. That's going along the lines of the grassy, savory saltiness of it. It's very, very light, but when you add the creamy texture to it, it's very nice and nice and flavorful. The vibrance is, as you breathe, it becomes more apparent. I'm getting like a nice whirl around the mouth as I breathe in and out. And there's definitely a slow burn to this, because I'm getting like, it's taking a while to dissipate. Right now it's settled in the back of my throat, so as I talk I'm still tasting it, and it's coming out really, really nice. Hey Pops, welcome. I saw you just come on in here. But yeah, like this is really, really nice. And I love the way it just sits on your tongue. Like, as I swallow, you can actually sense the taste going from the beginning of your mouth, the front of your mouth, all the way to the back. And it's kind of like time slows down slightly, because as you swallow, it kind of layers on there, and the flavor just settles in, like a little bit slowly. But the slower that it goes, the better it settles, and then you're getting like a full-bodied flavor out of it, and it's one that you can appreciate for sure, because you know, it's like once it sits there, and as you think about what you're drinking, which is what I always encourage you to do, whether you like it or not, always take a moment to think about what you drink. Because then you can explore the things that you do like versus what you don't like, and then pursue the things you do, but understand why you don't like the things you like, or you don't like, rather. Mm. There's a kind of like sensation that I'm getting as I drink it, as it cools. Normally, as most teas cool, you get this kind of um, like the sweetness tends to come out a little bit more. But with this, as it sits, I feel like it's getting a little bit darker and a little bit more savory. It's kind of got like this popcorn flavor going on right now, where like if it's been heated a little bit, oh excuse me, it's like a heated popcorn kind of flavor, not too strong, because that's one thing that you want to look out for when you're drinking a milk oolong. If it smells too much like movie theater popcorn, that's flavored. You don't want to have that, because that's only good for one steep. Once it's done, you can't get that same kind of flavor out of it. Always look for the natural leaf. Always look for one that is well rolled, and then purposefully under steep, so that you can steep it multiple times. And believe me, this is gonna change your life the way you go with tea. What I should have done, and I'm just thinking about this now, I should have done the demonstration with my gaiwan, because this kind of tea was made for it. Generally, people drink pu'er with gaiwans, but similarly, this is the kind of tea that you would want to do over and over again. So with the gaiwan, you have that. You know what? I'm going to show you guys what a gaiwan is, because it's very interesting the way that gaiwans work. Generally, you have 3 pieces to the gaiwan. You have you have the saucer, you have the cup, and you have the lid. So the way that this works is you put a little bit of tea into the gaiwan. Not this little bit, but you'll get the idea. So what you'll do is you'll put the tea in there. You'll put the water in there for just a few seconds, usually about 15 seconds or so, and then you get like a little mini teacup. I was not going to bring the teacup with me because it's in a different place, and I don't want to stay off camera for too long. But the way you pour it out, we'll pretend that this is the cup, is you leave a little bit of space in there, as you can see right there, and you let it pour out while holding the leaves back. Now, as you see, because it starts off so small, you'll want to use very little tea at first, and then as it steeps, just a couple seconds at a time, you'll have a full cup in no time. I did this before on one of my other tea. I did a tea tasting, and I used the gaiwan, and it was perfect for this, because all it is a couple seconds, and then you just pour out. I did the full 4-minute steep on this, and it was incredible. It wasn't with this particular one; it was with the TheCommuni-Tea. But I gotta tell you, that was just so incredible. It's like it grew, and as it grew, it took in less water but more flavor. So it was just really incredible. Oh, and I love the way that this is smelling. It's getting more and more savory, And as you go for it, I'm assuming it's going to be more of a buttery taste as you drink it, because it's starting to settle, it's starting to concentrate. Not only is it slightly darker, it's also getting a little bit smoky, which I really appreciate, because it's nothing too overpowering, not at all, but I'm getting this kind of like this toast and butter kind of flavor to it. I can really appreciate that, because it's the kind of flavor that you don't really find in a whole lot of teas. Usually when you drink a tea, you kind of sort of know what you're going to expect. If it's a black tea, you're gonna get that dark, savory flavor. If it's an oolong, it'll be a little bit vegetal. Or if it's a green, it'll be more vegetal. Or if it's a white, it'll taste light and airy. So you'll get the general idea. What was this? Is this tea Taiwanese or Chinese? This is a Taiwanese blend. The difference is in Taiwan, they roll it up very, very tightly and they break it. So I'll talk a little bit about the process because it's very interesting. What they do it all by hand. So they take maybe 1 or 2 leaves and they just roll it and roll it, and then they break it, and then they roll it and roll it, and then they break it. So as it builds, they break it and it releases some of the flavor over the exposed leaf, and then they roll it to cover it some more, and then break it again so that it layers up little by little. And sometimes you have like maybe 3 or 4 leaves and they're doing this, and then you come out with little pellets, and then they dry it like that so that you get them all rounded, and then they roast it sometimes. A lot of the times they roast it, and that seals in the flavor, and it's so good so that when it opens up the leaf, little by little, it releases the flavor that has been broken over it and gives that off a little bit at a time. It's very interesting. I highly recommend, if you're ever going to drink a milk oolong especially, to do it that way. Multiple steeps, multiple tastings. Let it last all day, because I guarantee if you like it, you'll love it by the end of it. Oh, excuse me. It starts off as like a lighter vegetal kind of flavor, but the more you do it, the darker it gets, and by the end of it, you'll get a nice buttery, savory, smoky blend that really like just lays on the tongue and lets you just absorb it, just get it all in there. Oh, it's so good. I just talked myself into another sip. I need one. But yeah, I prefer Taiwanese oolong over Chinese, because the Chinese, Chinese oolong is still good, but the style is a lot different. Instead of rolling it, they just leave it as is and oxidize it. So you're gonna have long, twisted kinds of leaves, or a lot of the time they also just leave it straight so that you have little stalks. But in this case, you're gonna get like a very similar flavor, but it's generally more heavily oxidized. Zam, welcome. It's generally more oxidized, so you're gonna get a stronger flavor, which some people appreciate. You know, I mean, I really love a nice, strong rock oolong. You know, something that's super smoky, super savory. You just sit there, you just let it you can inhale the flavor and just let it fill you. That is the sense of a good rock oolong, a nice, deep, dark oolong, and those you'll get from Chinese farms. This one, it tends to be more on the vegetal creamy side. I prefer the vegetal creamy side depending on my mood, because I'm very much a mood drinker, and I let the tea speak to me. And when you get that emotionally involved in what you drink, you'll enjoy it even more. Oh, it's so good. Right now it's just sitting on the roof of my mouth. And every time I swallow, it's like retasting the flavor. Oh, it's really good. It's just sitting there. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor. Questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, now's the time. I do have some really exciting announcements. So let me just start. Okay. Which one do I start with? Okay, so let me start with one that you guys already know. The International Tea Festival is coming in a couple weeks, November 8th and 9th, I believe. It's going to be that Saturday and Sunday. Registrations are still available. Swag bags, I believe, we had a meeting, and I believe that they mentioned that the swag bags were still available. So if you want to buy those tickets, go for it, because the swag bag is totally worth it. And yeah, I will be featured there, representing the community. I am free to see, so if you want to stop by, say hello, you're more than welcome to. I would love to see some of you guys. I would love to see all of you guys, honestly, and then some. So yeah, it's all gonna be a blast, and I will be sitting there for 8 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday. No rest for the wicked for me. So that will be my weekend. So I hope you guys show up and, you know, just chat for a while and see how things are going. The link for that is already on the announcements portion of the community group. So yeah, go ahead, register, and I hope to see you guys there. Next up, I'm trying to figure out which one comes in order. Okay, yeah, duh, easy. I'm also doing another tea tasting with Gilda's Club. They are they're a cancer support group that they help patients cope. They help friends and families. They help survivors cope with cancer, how it's affected their lives. They do incredible work, and I love each and every one of them. The staff to pieces. Like, I used to volunteer there the first or second Saturday of every month and cook breakfast, and the people that you meet are they're just incredible. I love them. Since COVID started, I haven't had the chance to go. They've closed their doors for a while, but I am doing an interactive tea tasting where people who sign up have the choice to buy the tea samples, either all of them, part of them, some of them, and they brew and taste them with me. And we just go it piece by piece. We talk about the flavor, we talk about the scent, we talk about the way that it's oxidized, and it's very interactive, very fun. So I advise, check it out. It's you can see it at www.gildasclub.org. Gildasclubchicago.org. I already posted the link. I'll also post it again here after this stream is done. And I seriously, like, you guys, if you have ever been affected by cancer, which 99% of us have been, either knowing somebody who had it, somebody who passed away from it, having it ourselves, it has had an impact on most everybody's life. So they are there. They're an incredible resource. And I say check them out. Also, agreed, Gilda's Club is amazing. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Also, I don't have a link for this one yet, but I also signed up for another round of the Nomad Tea Festival, the virtual tea festival. Last time it was centered in Australia. This one, it's going to be centered in Europe. So we're going to have a completely different time zone, and you know, everything is adjusted. It's going to be October. I should have wrote that down. It's going to be October 24th, I want to say. I believe it's the 24th. I don't have a link for it yet, but my tea party will be there. It's getting to know your besties again. Last time it was a lot of fun. I had a 1 hour window that went to 2.5 hours. So we had a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I highly encourage you guys. Again, it's a free it's a free event. So yeah, go ahead and sign up. Once I have the link, I'll send it to you guys. And we'll sit there, we'll chat, we'll drink, we'll have a lot of fun. So I highly recommend that one as well. Oh geez, there's like so many events going on. I love it. But you know what? As the weather gets colder, we need more tea in our lives, Okay. I think that's all the announcements for now. But I'm not 100% sure. If anything comes by, I'll just mention it. So, the Teresa question. What would I pair this with? It's a very light, buttery flavor. So I would pair this with something that's not too heavily flavored, nothing too strong, nothing too. I would probably pair this with like a nice salmon. Yeah, I would give this a nice salmon, something something kind of that goes well with butter. Like potatoes. What else goes well with butter? Toast, as I mentioned before. Toast and butter. This actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, toast and butter with this tea is kind of like the perfect cold. The perfect cold remedy. You know how like you can't taste too much when you're sick. Get yourself some toast with butter and some Shan. You'll be good to go. As far as desserts are concerned, maybe like some sort of butter cookie. Something that's kind of like something that's airy, like maybe some crackers, saltines. I don't know, because this is such a bit of a mystery. Like it's hard to get sweet with something that's kind of buttery, but not too strong. Maybe like a vanilla ice cream. I think that would go well with the creaminess of this flavor. Yeah, I think I can go with that. And now that I'm drinking more of it, I'm getting more of a toast with butter kind of vibe to it. And it's starting to settle, so like the smokiness is kind of settling in a little bit. So I would say well done toast. Well done toast with melted butter on it. Very, very homey-like. I'm really enjoying this. And it's settling really nice in my stomach. I'm really thoroughly, like, it's hard for me to express what it is that I'm tasting because I'm getting so wrapped up in the flavor of it. I think I might be overthinking the flavors in my head a little bit because it's just, there's a lot to consider. I'm going to need another sip. Okay, so I just took a big old gulp, and it kind of just like it became more vegetal as it sat in there for a few seconds. I still got like the buttery toast flavor, but it's got a little bit more than that. It's kind of grassy, kind of grassy, kind of grassy. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's kind of fresh cut grass, because it has that silky, creamy smoothness to it. Fresh cut. There we go. Fresh cut grass after it's rained. I think that sums it up pretty well. Okay, so it looks like I've got very little left. I'm opening up the floor for questions, comments, anything you want to talk about. Now is the time. Especially, this is a fresh cut tea. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Ali Shan is going to be in the same category. There we go. I'm trying to catch a good... Oh, this one is beautiful. This one is beautiful. This is what I was looking for. You know how I always talk about the 3 leaves? Here you go. I think this one is a really nice example of a leaf that was cut. The only thing is, like, it hasn't opened up all the way. You could probably steep this for another 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes and get like whatever flavor is left out of it. But you know how I always talk about the 3. You got the two leaves and then the bud in the middle. There, you got it right here. And it's so beautiful. Like it's opened up so much. So yeah, this is this a first flush? That is hard to tell. Generally, oolongs can get picked all year long. So it's all in the oxidation. I will say it may or may not be first flush, but it's definitely not a young leaf. Because you've seen like the young leaves as you first pick them up. They're small, they're tiny, they open up and you get like it just a flat. But you see how big and fat these mature leaves are. So these are made from an older leaf, but they're spun and crushed and broken a little bit. And I use the term broken loosely because, as you can see, they're still intact. What I mean is that they're broken, like the skin is broken and it just releases a little bit of flavor. I don't know how it's done by hand, honestly. There has to be such a precision kind of break that, like, it doesn't crush the leaf, it keeps it intact, but it also releases the flavor. So you have to do it just enough to, I guess, pop it, but not hard enough to break it all the way through. That is some skill right there. So, questions, comments, anything you want to talk about? Now's the time. This is the last sip, so here we go. Oh, that was so good. I think next time I do this, I'm going to do it as a 15-second steep and maybe get 10, 15, maybe even 20 steeps out of this. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me once again. This has been a very delicious stream. So I'm going to go ahead and post the links after the stream is up. If you're interested in getting your own bit of the Ali Shan, I highly recommend it. I will leave the link in the post as well. So until next time, have a great weekend, a wonderful week, and I'll see you later. Bye.